I got some bad news, folks. Previously, I said it'd probably be the last time we see the Impala. Well, it's not. It's back. We have to pull the transmission out because the damn converter's going to shit. The lockup clutch disc in it is falling apart. And the owner took the car and he drove it, and the next day it quit moving. Transmission started whining real bad. I told him pull the pan off of it and see what you see, and the filter was full of crap. I got a picture of that, I'll show that here. I need to get this lifted up, get the transmission out. It's still, he put a new filter in it, filled it full of oil, and it works, but he bought a different converter for it, so we're going to put a different converter in it, and it probably wouldn't hurt to check out the transmission to see if anything's plugged up or anything weird going on. It wouldn't hurt just to check it out. So I'm going to pull the transmission back out here and check it out, make sure everything's good. And also, the converter is supposed to be, that's in it's supposed to be like a 24 to 2800, and it just acts like a stock stall. It started turning tires over about 1100 RPM. So I don't know if it was a reject or what was going on. I think he bought it on eBay and it was a TSI converter. So now he has an Alabama Boss Hog when he wants to put in it. So we'll see. Managed to get the transmission out of the Impala last night. A little bit of a mess on the floor there I need to clean up. It wasn't too difficult to get back out. There's a lot of room on these cars to get the transmission in and out. Use the tranny jack there and use the cherry picker to lift the tranny off of the transmission jack, because that's as low as it goes and I don't feel that strong. Damn 4L80Es are pretty damn heavy. So anyways, took the transmission and put it in the other room toward the park. We'll go have a look, see at what's wrong with it. Here's the transmission on the stand. Got it tore down to the intermediate clutches. I had everything out of it, and everything from there back is just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's a little bit of, I guess you'd call it, clutch garbage from the clutch disc in the converter. Back in there, I cleaned it all up. The worst part about it is, well, not this. This is the overdrive clutches, they're fine. Overrun's fine. This is the direct, and they are just a tad burnt, I'd say. The clutches are starting to turn a little black, and the forwards are smoked. There's the forward clutches, and they are smoked. Now I'm sure that's from when the filter got plugged. It was sort of trying to go in gear and sort of not going in gear. So. But that drum needs to be addressed. Damn clutches out there. Yeah, they're supposed to be red like that, not black. They're not supposed to be black like that. They're supposed to be red. I also broke the wave plate down in there. These things just got like two little tabs on them. Broke that side off. Get new of that. Probably should stick a new seal in it since it got hot. And it didn't do the clutch hub any good. As you can see where the wave plate or bevel spring, whatever you want to call it, was banging against the drum there and it screwed it up. So it needs a new one of those too. Other than that, everything looks pretty good in it. I should take this drum apart here so I can show you the clutches kind of smoked in it. I thought I had the ring out of it, but yeah, I can do that with one hand. Grab a screwdriver over here. Pop her apart. Doesn't mount too much. We got the ring coming out. We'll just turn her upside down here. Maybe that needs to be moved out of the way. hard to do with one hand. We'll get it though. Put that over there. That's the band. The band looks damn good still. The drum looks like it might be a little warm there around the ring. Got a little black look to it. Like I say, when the filter's almost plugged up and it's trying to move and not move, that's hard on the clutches. That one's still decently red looking, but they start getting black looking, as you can see that one there. Isn't quite as red as it should be anymore. That one's fairly decent. You got smell-o-vision, but it's got a burnt smell to it. So that should probably be replaced too. I guess once you get all that replaced, you'll be able to stick it back together. Yeah, that one's nice and pretty red, and it just slowly starts turning black the deeper it goes. Yeah, well, we can get some parts, we'll get it back together and get back in the car. You know, to buy a different stall converter for it too. And like I said, I probably said this before, but the converter that was in it, it didn't act like it stalled at all. Now I'm beginning to wonder if it wasn't just a stock converter that somebody painted black and stuck it in the box. We might have played the old switcheroo one time down the line. Who knows? We'll get this back together and maybe get the car moving, and the stall that we put in it will work correctly. Working on the 4L80 out of the Impala, and I got the direct drum back in the transmission with new clutches and steels in it. Bought a new clutch module. Comes with new clutches and new steels. Also bought a new inside wire loom because the one I was on it was trying to seep through the fitting there, or the plug where it goes through the transmission. Got a couple extra steels so I can set the clearance on it. I did a few things, or going to do a few different things to make sure that the lockup does lock up. Went ahead and installed some new Teflon seals on the input shaft, just to make sure there wasn't anything wrong with them. They had new ones on it before, but I went and put new ones on it again. I mean, the ones on it look fine. You bought a new, I guess it's over here, new lockup solenoid, which I had two different ones in it before he took off with it, and that I highly doubt two of them are bad as possible, but we bought a new one of those. I took the valve body apart, checked her out, and everything looked good in there. There wasn't nothing wrong in there. And you got a new clutch hub. One that's not screwed up, so we got that part. Still waiting on the beveled spring for the forward clutches. I do have one, but I thought I'd let the owner get one at the transmission place where we get all the parts at. Got the pump and the forward. Just kind of sitting there with those new seals in it. They kind of fit themselves to it, just let it sit for a while. Going to put the wide bushing in the front here, which helps seal up the torque converter clutch oil. I mean, it acts nice and tight, but I highly doubt that's what the problem was, but we're going to do it anyway since it's out. It is out, and we're going to put, where's that here on the pump? Okay, right here. That is the torque converter clutch valve, and they're known for that plug leaking. So we're going to stick a plug in it with an O-ring around it. And that's about all the things you can do to it to make sure it works. It's got a new bushing in there. Of course, everything was new in it. So I'm going to have to take the pump apart, clean it all up, make sure there's no crud in it. Still need to work on the forward. I put new seals in the piston because these got hot. I mean, it was still working after you changed the filters. Now's the time to do it. Not stick it in and find out something doesn't work. Install the transmission, find out something doesn't work, and then have to tear it back out again. But overrun's good, overdrive clutches is good. Pretty much should have everything, just need to get that beveled plate. And we'll be back in business. Now working on the 4L80 for the Impala. I got all the guts back in it. I have to replace the forward and direct clutches in it. Did some mods to the pump right there. That plugs one of them. Put an O-ring end plug in it. And then on the opposite side of here, there's an end plug with an O-ring, and that's all that's been done in there besides replacing the clutches. Oh, and installing the wider bushing up in there. We got the valve body back on. Just need to tighten it down. Clean up the pan. Get the filter, which I think might be over in the car up on the left, and we got a new switch for the torque converter lockup. But as soon as that is done, maybe stick it back in the car. But here's some of the, let's put some new deals on it. That's a plug kit, but those are smaller. There's different sizes of those. This transmission had the larger size plugs in it. Let's see, there's one, two. You gotta buy them in a 5-pack, but sure might be working on another training one of these days too. Another one. Can't remember which. I think it's a 625 we used. And there's the bushings. They come in a 5-pack. I don't know why there's only 3 in there. There should be another here somewhere. Maybe they only came in a 4-pack. Yep, only 4. My bad. Anyways, put the wider bushing in the stator support. Put those end plugs in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the bigger size we do not use. I think this is the size we use, the 625. Yep. Use 2 of those. Do not use those ones. I just ordered them all anyways. And put some new Teflon seals on the input shaft. I mean, the ones on it look good, but there's the old, which I replaced that. I put 2 different ones in, it still didn't work, so I doubt it's a solenoid. I mean, it was clicking, so I even tried to blow some air through it. But anyways, get this back together. Clean up the pan, and we'll get back in the car and get it moving. We're good with a different stall converter. Got the transmission back together. Cleaned it off and gave it a nice aluminum spray bomb job, I guess. Now all you do is let this dry and wait for it to warm up a little bit because it's freezing cold over on the other side. Ain't got no heat over there. Probably like 20 degrees out. But I'm not going to do that today. Might be a day or two before I get to putting this back in. First it's got to dry anyway, it's still a little wet. Anyways, hopefully it works. It should work. I have no reason why it shouldn't work. At least the lockup part and the transmission work. Hopefully the Impala will be moving down the road and it won't be back. I managed to get the transmission back up in there. I managed to make a mess. Only because I blew the transmission lines out. I don't know if there's any gunk or crap in them, but got the upper line on up in there. Trying to get that one on, and for lack of better terms, is being a bitch. Trying to cross thread. So. Anyways, once I get that on there, just got to do the rest of the stuff to get it hooked up. It shouldn't take too long, but biggest deal is we're going to put another tranny cooler on it. Mainly because I don't know if there's crap stuck in that one. So. Anyways, I'm going to get back to it here. And also I forgot, show the converter. Putting the Boss hog one in it. Part number 49482. This will be like a 22 or 24 to 2800 stall. We'll find out. The other converter's in over there. It didn't stall at all. It acted like it was a bone stock converter. We'll find out here. Well, I got everything underneath pretty much done. Get the exhaust back on, driveshaft in. Transmission linkage is all hooked up. Got the vacuum modulator hooked up. The wires for the lockup hooked up. Converter's in. Torque mirror bolts are tight. All you do is let it down and hook the different tranny cooler up and fill it full of oil. Test it out. Got the transmission cooler mounted. Filled it full of oil. Got 10 quarts in it. I think it should hold about 12. And got some extra parts here, but I'm not going to need. Guess I'm ready to fire it up and see what happens. So I'll go ahead and do that and top the oil off, and then we'll see what happens. Now we'll see what she does here. Starts up. Should. But kind of dark in here. Got the light. Get some tachometer on the light up and stuff. Yep. See what she does. Ooh, baby. That didn't sound good. What the hell? That don't sound good. Let's see what's going on. Kind of like the starter's falling off. Yeah, I'll lift it up here and see what the hell's going on underneath there. That didn't sound good at all. Yeah, let's see, nothing weird. The starter wasn't loose, so maybe the battery's just weak. I'm gonna put the charger on it, let it sit for a little bit. Don't look like anything too weird's going on, so I didn't mess with the starter. So. I didn't see nothing. Maybe the wire's grounding out or something, but don't look like it. Oh well. Put her back down here and put the charger on it, I guess. Yeah, we'll see what it does this time. Charger's been on it for a while. See if it wants to start or not. Think about the plug wire crossed. Started though, might be why it's hard starting. Anyways, I'm gonna check the wires out. Yeah, there's the culprit. 3 and 6 are wrong. It is 1, 8, 4, 3. 1, 8, 4, 3. Hell yeah, get on there. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6. 6 goes there. 5, 7, 2. This side. 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. Yep. Maybe it'll run this time. Might start a little easy too. Let's try this again. these eyes on anyway. Batter up a little bit so it's cold. Enough moment. Shut this off. Now I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit. Check the training fluid and we'll see what it does.